Jenni Beathard now as we go to the floor exercise.
A very dynamic tumbler. Open pass. Full twisting double back. She trains at Brown in Altamont Springs, Florida. This is where Brandy Johnson, former Olympic team member and silver medalist at the World Championships, trained.
Browns with a large contingent here. Altamont Springs, Florida.
Watch this. It's a 2.5 twist into a front somersault. We've seen a lot more of these because in the code of points, it's worth bonus points. Oh no, and she stepped out of bounds. Of course, that's a 10th of a point for stepping out of bounds and a deduction for the stumble. And another 2.5 twists.
Jenni Beathard. We've got a lot more to come in this competition. This is the Hilton Invitational. We're in Atlanta, and we'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to Atlanta. That score, incidentally, for Jenni Beathard on floor before we went away to break, 9-4-7-5. Not a bad score. As we look to Abbey Burns now on the vault. Abbey Burns, out of the Atlanta School of Gymnastics, been at it since she was 7 years old. She's now 15, 10th grader.
And she's a member of the senior national team in March last year. She performed at the U.S. Classics, was 14th after compulsories, and because she had the second highest score in optional, she moved up to 7th. The handspring front vault in pike position. A much more difficult position to perform that vault in, but unfortunately she was very short. 0.5 of a point off immediately for the fall. So she really needs to make some corrections on this vault. Really what went wrong is that she crammed into the horse on the pre-flight, which really stopped her momentum forward and up into the somersault.
So she'll have another to try to improve. Remember, mentioned earlier, doesn't necessarily have to do the same vault.
Vault takes a lot of speed and a lot of power. A lot of people think, they see the round-off vaults, they think they're so much more difficult. This is a very difficult vault.
Saw her score 8.6.
Let's see if she can get on the horse a little bit better, so she can utilize the speed from the run. She wants to get on top of the horse and follow through. Almost pulled it out.
Couldn't quite save it, and that very likely will be a very similar score as we go over now to the uneven bars. Marilou Cousineau of the Quebec team. We haven't even really talked too much about the fact that these are not only Americans who we're watching today. We're watching some Russian performers, a few Canadians, and here's one of them.
And she is the national champion in Canada. This is her strongest event. Nice high amplitude in that first release move. She's also performing a second release move right here. The front somersault. Beautiful distance from the bar. It's a nice, powerful double layout dismount. Watch the position in the air. Totally laid out. Oh, she's bent her legs, though. Bent her legs and slightly apart with them. That'll be a deduction.
Tentative smile as Marilou Cousineau finishes. The vault score, incidentally, for Abbey Burns, 8.75, an improvement over her first, back to the uneven bars.
This was really the best part of the routine. Watch the height on this front somersault. Good form, but most important, perfect distance from the bar. Here's where she had some trouble, because in warm-up, this dismount was beautiful. And unfortunately, she lost form. Right as she goes into the layout, you can see her legs are apart and slightly bent, and she needed to do that to get it around. She was going to be a little short of rotation otherwise.
so that will cost her. 15-year-old from Montreal, and we'll be back with more. We'll have the score of Marilou Cousineau when we come back to the Cobb Galleria Center after this.
After a stunning performance at the 1992 Olympic Games, Shannon Miller became the new queen of gymnastics in the United States. She returned home from Barcelona with 5 medals, making her the most decorated U.S. athlete at the Games. She also returned home as America's new sweetheart and received a hero's welcome from a proud nation. Shannon spent the remainder of 1992 on a whirlwind tour, signing autographs, making appearances, and performing in exhibitions. Career picked up where it left off in Barcelona. In 1993, she became the world champion, and now she is training as hard as ever with her sights set on Atlanta in '96.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great just to show everyone that, I'm not over the hill in gymnastics, but I'll still be in there and doing the best I can.
Shannon obviously has been with me for 8 years, and so I know her like the back of my hand. She is the most dedicated individual I've ever met in my life, male or female. She has never missed a practice in her life. She is a straight-A student in honors. I don't know how she does it, but she is very unique in her dedication, and I think that that's been her determination to be her very best is second to none.
Well, she thrust herself before the sports world as a 15-year-old in Barcelona. She won more medals than any American in any sport. She really hasn't looked back since that time. At the World Championships, she won 3 more times. Won the all-around, won the floor X, won the uneven bars, and these days she's not really thinking so much about the accomplishments of the past. She still has a tendency to be thinking about the accomplishments of the future. As we take a look at the standings after the first round, remember, team competition, Dynamo, and that is the team that would have to be considered the favorites to win here. Browns in second place, the Quebec Seniors, Peach State, and the Illinois Seniors. And individually, Shannon Miller with the 9.9 in the vault as she prepares now on the bars. Susan Buffington, a 9.5. Marilou Cousineau on bars a moment ago, 9.475. Jenni Beathard, who we saw in floor X, her score, 9.475. And we prepare now for Soni Meduna on the uneven bars.
Soni is really beautiful on this event. This is where her height, she's 5 feet tall. I know that doesn't sound very tall, but it's pretty tall for a gymnast, and it really helps her on this event. Long line. Beautiful full turn there on top of the bar. There's her first release move, a reverse hex. Now, the gymnasts here are performing and competing to class 10 or level 10 rule. Beautiful double front with a half turn rather than the elite rules, which means it's easier for these gymnasts who are elite gymnasts to have a starting value of 10 on these routines because the difficulty requirement is not as high. This is called a reverse hex or a Tkachev, and it's named after the Soviet gymnast many, many years ago created this skill.
Take a look at her dismount now.
This was really the best part of the exercise. She does lose form a little bit right there, but she does a double front with a half twist. Great landing. Very nice exercise.
So for Soni Meduna, needless to say, she was pleased with it, and so too were her coaches. Steve Nuno quickly over to congratulate her. That sets the tone for the team. Remember, we talked about the fact this is a team competition.